So why do we celebrate this day? Science and gender equality are both vital for the achievement of the internationally agreed development goals, including the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Over the past decades, the global community has made a lot of effort in inspiring and engaging women and girls in science. Yet, women and girls continue to be excluded from participating fully in science. In order to achieve full and equal access to and participation in the science for women and girls, and further achieve gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, the United Nations General Assembly declared 11th February as the International Day for Women and Girls in Science in 2015. Why is STEM important? STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM education puts an emphasis on preparing the future generations to be successful in their careers. The skills gained from the STEM education extend beyond those needed to be successful in the STEM fields, preparing children with varied interests who move into any industry to have set skill sets that allow them to be successful. Now I will like to hand it over to Megha ma'am to show us a short video on the guest for today, Ms. Varija Shah.
So hello everyone. Before even starting the video, I am so thankful to Varija for being here today with such a short notice. She is NCC certificate holder, and she is currently, just finished a BA in Mass Communication and Journalism, but she is supposedly the youngest student pilot of Gujarat, and also pressuring commercial pilot. And she would, when we say the word pressuring commercial pilot, I think she would put more light on that. And she's also an internationally known tennis player. So my friends, let me put up a video to welcome Varija. And I'm so happy to announce that my Shravya, okay, on her own, downloading all the pictures of Varija, she has put up this video together. And just a second.
ना खबर ना कभी वो ले जा तू उखाड़ के जमीन फुर जा तू ना झुकना कभी झीले अपनी जिंदड़ी वो मार छड़पा वो चांद पे चढ़ जा उड़ जा बन के आसमान दी परी जिस पल से देखा है तुझको मन ये पगल गया पीछे पीछे देखो तेरे हाथ से निकल गया जिस पल से ना कभी ना खबर
Give up. Stand for yourselves, your families, and your own country.
So thank you, Shravya, for such a wonderful video. I think I would really like to thank Shravya Sheth for this. And it was her idea and she did the whole thing. Okay, so Anya, over to you to continue and start our interaction with Varija Didi.
Yes, ma'am. So now I would like to ask you a question.
Sure. First of all, I would like to thank you. I love the video and thank you so much for having me here. And thank you so much, Megha ma'am, especially for, putting up all this. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Just a second. I think I will put Shravya Sheth on spotlight for a minute. Yes, Shravya, she is the one who had made the video, and I think we must thank her for the same. And thank you so much, Shravya.
Thank you
All
so much.
right.
I
So
love
Anya,
the video.
Please go on, beta.
Yes. So, which or who was your biggest inspiration to pursue flying?
Okay. So, actually, when I was in eighth grade, my class teacher had given me a duty to make the class bulletin board. And the topic for it was, what do you want to pursue when you grow up? So, everyone in my class and everyone, my friends, and everyone knew what they wanted to become when they grow up. But I was the only one who was clueless. So, the very next day, my father actually took me to the Harol Expressway for a ride, and I saw an airplane take off and land so closely. So the and that and that very moment I knew that I wanted to be a pilot. I got so fascinated, and it was so nice to see an airplane land and take off. So the next day I drew an airplane and wrote on the bulletin board that I want to become a pilot when I grow up. So it was actually my father's dream also to become a pilot, but due to some circumstances he couldn't. So I would say that I'm actually living my father's dream and mine too. So he is my biggest inspiration for continuing being a pilot.
Okay. Thank you for the thank you for the patient answer. Now, like me, many of my friends also have questions. I would like to hand it over to my friend Shavya Sheth to ask you the further question.
Yeah, so I have two special questions.
Okay.
The first one is, what inspired you to be a pilot?
Okay. Like I said, my father always had a dream of being a pilot. He wanted to go into the Air Force or, just become a commercial pilot. But due to some circumstances, he couldn't. And plus, my mother, who is always an adventurous woman. So since I was 6 years old, she always used to take me to places to, just join wherever I can, go for a hike and go play tennis. So both of them equally inspired me to become a pilot.
Yeah, and the second question is, which are the more like I'm in the sixth grade, so which are the most important subjects to learn to join uh, an air flying school?
Okay, so first of all, you need to be proficient in speaking English, which I'm sure you are. I can see that. So, because when you fly an airplane, you talk to the ATC. ATC is the air traffic control. So, ATC basically prevents the aircraft from collisions and organize the air traffic. So, when you are talking to them, they give you proper instructions as to when you have to go towards the right, or which height you have to fly. So when you talk to them, the medium of talking to the ATC worldwide is English. So an English proficiency is very necessary. After that, you need physics and maths in 12th grade. So if you have physics and maths with a minimum score of 65 to 70%, you will be fine. And to join a flying school, after you complete your 12th grade in physics and maths, you have to clear a medical and physical test. So, but I would also give a personal feedback of mine. If you want to become a pilot and want to join a flying club, I would suggest that you also do your graduation and then pursue to become a pilot.
Okay, thank you for a lovely answer.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to hand it over to Ishani to
Adit,
ask.
beta, the new order is, I think you are not saying the new order. Anya, just check up the WhatsApp, beta. Okay, the next question is from Adit, please.
Mummy, I need the.
Hello, good morning. I have a question that, like, did you always have a dream to be a pilot, or did some specific event in your life change that?
Okay, so a few years back, I used to, my Masi, who was also a pilot, she was in the US. So when she came back to India, she took me for a joyride when I was 6 years old. And when I sat there, I really got fascinated by how she was flying and talking to the air traffic control. And later, even on my 15th birthday, my father gave me a gift by going on a joyride uh, in the Gujarat Flying Club with Captain Yunus. So when I also saw him, how he flew a plane and how he actually, the uniform which he was wearing, it made me so proud that he can carry himself so well and he looks so smart. I will, aside from flying a plane, I also love the uniform. So these were the two specific events which made me 200% sure that I want to become a pilot.
In fact,
Okay.
I would really like to say that we were watching that movie Gunjan Saxena, and
Right.
the way she runs towards those planes. I think you were exactly sounding like that. That when your father took you, or when you actually saw your Masi flying, I think it's such a I don't have words to describe that how a child feels when a 6-year-old running behind the planes. And it was very beautifully shown in the movie, though. I think all the children also should watch. Apart from being how she acted, that is a different story. But then it's a beautifully put up a biopic, I think. Yes, Anya? Yes, beta.
Yes, now I
Thank
would
you,
like to
Adit.
hand it over to Ishani to continue.
Ishani, are you there, beta?
I don't think so.
Anya, you can ask that question, beta.
Okay, yeah. So I have two questions. Ishani had two questions. Did your parents support you to be a pilot?
Yes, so as I said that my mother is a very adventurous woman and my father is also the same. So when I told my parents the decision that I want to become a pilot no matter what, my dad was so happy because obviously he wanted to become a pilot. But I would give an example of my mother. So you are staying in Ahmedabad, all of you would know the Kakarya Lake. So there was a fest going in the Kakarya Lake, and they had put up a parasailing ride for the kids. And I was 10 years old, and all of them with me were boys. So when the person who was doing it asked me that, would you mind going first? And I just looked at my mother, and she said that obviously you have to go. So I just went and I just did the parasailing, and they actually asked me if you want to land on the boat or the water. But I said that I don't mind landing in the water because I knew swimming. So since then, my mother was keeping me ready, getting me ready to become a pilot. She used to take me to hikes and trekking so that when I go to the top of the mountain, I'm not scared of heights or I'm not scared of water. So if I want to do an emergency landing or due to some circumstances, I just land into the water. I know how to swim or I know how to handle myself. So both my parents were extremely happy when I told them that I want to become a pilot, and they've supported me in every decision that I've ever made.
Thank you. And now the second question is, and what problems did you deal with when you when you flew a plane?
I don't really have any problems, but I would like to give an example. For instance, I was scared. This instant, after this instance, I was a bit scared, but I did overcome that. So I would like to tell you that when I went for my flying with my instructor, we have a pre-flight check. So pre-flight check is when you take off, you actually check everything, whether the doors are locked, windows are locked, and whether the instruments are working properly or not. So I had checked everything. I thought that I had checked everything, but I took off. And when I was at 200 feet, where I was sitting, my door opened at 200 feet. So I was so scared that what should I do? I was actually panicking, and I looked at my instructor. So at that point, my instructor told me that do not panic, just close your door properly and continue your flying. So I did that. And after that, obviously, he made me do my pre-flight checks pretty well, like 4 or 5 times. I also got a really bad busting for that. But this was an instance where I got scared, but I did overcome that gradually.
But
So
then, I think when that happens on the road, when we start the car, I think, on the road also one gets so scared.
Exactly.
Feel that if somebody you're going to be banging with somebody when the door is open or something, and what will happen to you, of course, that is also there in back of the mind. But I can imagine your fright at 200 feet for sure. And I think children can actually visualize that. But
I know it was so scary.
yeah, wonderful, wonderful to know. And, to probably, I really wish that children, concentrate on each and every part of the conversation today. And go ahead, Anya, beta. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So now I would like to hand it over to my friend Rhea to ask the next question.
Hmm. Hello. So my question for you today is, what training is required to be a pilot?
So right now, I am a student pilot license holder. For being a commercial pilot license, that is, if you want to join the airlines like Indigo, Go First, or any such airlines, you, as I said, you have to clear your physics and maths with 65 to 70%. Then you have to clear your physical and medical test. So after you clear your physical and medical test, so do you drive a scooter, two-wheeler? No, but you would know that you first need a learner's license and then you can drive, right? Similarly, to fly an airplane, you need a student pilot license. So first you take a student pilot license, clear the test, and then you continue on your training. So after that, you build your hours and then you get your commercial pilot license. So for commercial pilot license, you have to go through 200 hours of flying, and between that you have to clear some papers. So those are a few papers which you have to clear, and then you can get your license. The papers which you have to clear are air regulations, navigation. Air regulation is basically, if you're studying science, you know there are three streams in that: biology, chemistry, and physics. Similarly, air regulations is the same. Navigation is when you know how well you can navigate your airplane. So for example, if you don't have a GPS or anything and you get lost, how will you navigate yourself and go back to the spot where you took off? Technical general is basically the technical things about the aircraft, and technical specific is how does the engine work, what kind of engine is in the aircraft. And the second last is metrology. If you are stuck in a cloud, for example, there's a if you're sat in an airplane, there are a few turbulences, you would know. So how to avoid such turbulences, and which cloud you should not go to and which cloud you should not avoid. So these are the aspects in the metrology. And the radio telephony, as I said, you should be English proficient. So when you're talking to the ATC, radio telephony is the examination which you have to appear for to talk to the air traffic control. So these are a few papers which you have to clear, and then you can get your commercial pilot's license for this reason.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you so much, Rhea, for asking such a beautiful question. And I think, Varija, trust me, for our ninth and 10th graders, Ayush would definitely remember that we had taken them, as a class to a ham radio operator. And yeah, so basically, my husband also himself has a call sign, and how they can talk in the world without, it's a wireless communication, what you were describing about. So
Correct.
it's wonderful to hear that one more time. Ayush, do you remember our days of ham radio, beta? He
Yes, ma'am.
So, Varija, for your information, when you were asking Rhea, Rhea is a fifth grader, and this club runs from fourth grade onwards.
Correct.
Beautiful conglomeration of all the children coming together on Sunday morning and discuss about science and technology. So, I'm
Correct.
really wishing that what information you gave right now was such fruitful information that I was telling Salil that nobody told us at our age. But these children are so lucky that, at the age of grade 4 and 5, they are able to know that what all procedure, they have to undergo if they like something like this. So, thank you. I think, Anya, beta, can we go?
Yes, ma'am. Now I would like to hand it over to Om to ask the next question.
Om, are you there? Okay, I don't think he's there. Anya? Please ask that, beta.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, so what was your first experience while learning and flying?
Okay, so when I went, what? So if you are actually driving a car, you would just see how a person is teaching you. For example, the same way when I was flying for the first time, Captain Yunus took me for my first ride. It was basically a joy ride because you don't know how actually a airplane works. So I was actually observing how he was controlling the airplane, how he was actually monitoring the gestures and controls. But the most memorable thing that I actually know is when you take off and when you just see the whole Vadodara or the skies and the building. That is so nice. So when I actually went for my joyride, I was noticing the other things. And later, Captain Yunus actually, when I went for the first time, he actually handed me the controls. He was obviously handling it from the side, but he also told me that you should feel it, how the controls work. So this is how my first experience was.
Thank you for the insightful answer. Now I will request my friend Anjani to ask the next question.
Hello. My question to you is, can you recollect any moment where you were fried or scared?
Yes,
Fried.
like I said that at 200 feet, my door opened and I was really scared. But the busting that I got from my instructor, I'm sure your teacher also must scold you if you do anything wrong. You should recollect. So that was, I mean, I was scared at that point of time, but even the busting which I got from my instructor, I still remember how angry he was at me that I've never made such mistake ever again. Because once you make that mistake, you remember for the rest of the life how terrifying it was. And the most terrifying part was he scolded me in front of everyone. So you know how embarrassed you get. So that was the most scary part of the flying, and I'm sure I'm never going to repeat that again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to request Arna to ask the next question.
Hello, good morning. My name is Anna, and my question to you is, which pilot did you admire the most?
Okay, when I joined NCC Air Wing, I did my flying with the commanding officer, Captain Vasantraj. He took me to he took me for a joyride on an aircraft named Microlight, and he asked me if I'm scared of height. And I spontaneously replied that no, I was not scared of height because I wanted to become a pilot. And then he just tested me. He asked me, okay, then let me check if you're ready to become a pilot or not. He turned the whole aircraft 180-degree against the G-force without any hesitation or giving me any heads up. And at that very point of time, he also monitored my face, if I was scared or not, or if I was holding anything, or if I closed my eyes. But I did none. And after landing, he told me that I was ready to become a pilot. I was so fascinated by the aerobatics that he did. He actually turned the aircraft 180-degree against the G-force. I mean, if you ever get to experience that, you would be so grateful. So I would say that Captain Vasantraj is the pilot whom I still admire the most. Whenever I'm in a, fix and I want to know if I'm scared and I want some opinion, I still call him and ask for the same because he always gives me the best answer possible. So he is the pilot whom I admire the most still.
Thank you.
You.
Uh, so
All
now I'd
right.
like
So, Anya, thank you very much for taking us up to this journey, beta. And Varija, we have, a lot of videos put together, at least 6 to 7 videos put together by different children, especially a girl child, on why they love science. okay, for today. So I would be playing that now.
Sure.
And again, these videos are completely compiled by Shravya together. And it's online, not downloaded. You can't download.
Ma'am, shall I share?
Yes, beta, you can.
Yeah, just a second. Just a second, ma'am.
Okay.
Just a second. Yeah.
My name is Ananya Sheet. I like experiments and invent new things. Many scientists like Thomas Alva Edison and James Watt have found many facts. Science is everywhere. We breathe, birds fly. The science is also behind it. Science is really fun to learn. Thank you.
I love science because it is too different from everything else. In science, I can ask questions, and through conducting exciting practical experiments, have them answered. All of these is highly beneficial.
Hi, I'm Rihanna and I'm from grade 3. I love science because there are many ways to learn it, and also it involves new fun facts that you can learn. It is really fun learning science because you get more ideas how to do anything, and also you get more ideas about how the world is. And there are a lot of other ways to learn it, like doing cartoons, then watching fun videos, and doing activities. That helps me learn better, and it is a fun way to learn. This is why I like science.
Hello, my name is Kiara Shroff, and today I am going to tell you three reasons why I love science. The first reason why I love science is that people can't fool you by telling you that something is magic, because in science there's always a scientific reasoning. That's the first reason. The second reason is that even though people tell you that this is not magic and it has a scientific reasoning, you still think it's cool. You don't think that just because it isn't magic and it has a scientific reasoning, it loses all its fantasticness. You still think it's very cool. So that's my second reason, and that my third reason is that you always have a bigger world in science. Suppose you're walking to school and you're walking on soil, but you don't stop and think that what are the creatures in the soil, or um, what type of soil this is. You just walk on. You didn't don't give it a thought. But in science, it teaches you all about that. That there is so much to soil than you think. And that's not just for soil. That's for so many things. Like the leaves on the trees you see, the rocks you find lying around on the park, even the rubbish that you throw in your dustbin. They all have so much more to them than you think. Those were the three reasons why I love science. Thank you.
Namaste Bharat. My name is Vanshika Kanodia. I'm a grade 3 student from Muscat.
Today, I would like to talk about science. I have 3 points which I would like to say. First point, what is science to me? Second point, why is it important to learn science? Third point, what is giving me the interest to do science? First point, let's start. So, I love doing science because we can learn about our body part like our head, our ears, our eyes and nose. And suppose if we are sick and having a tummy ache or a headache, we can know the right medicine what to do. Third point, what gives me the interest? When I grow up, I would love to be a doctor. So that's why I want to learn science and become a great doctor. Thanks to Mega ma'am. Thank you Mega ma'am for being my science teacher. Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Adya Rawal and I am from grade 3 science classes, and today I have a presentation where I'm going to show on the topic why do I love science. Hope you all enjoy my presentation. So why do I love science? So science is like mostly everything. Like birds, animals, mammals, kites, and even your toys and balloons that we play with. And science can be done in experiments, writing a video, seeing videos. Like science is everything, and science can be done in various ways. Now let's see some topics on science. So science in your body. So science is in your body like esophagus means air and food pipe. We have food glands, liver pool, abdomen, brain, etc. Right? Then science can be fun in every age you want. And here's a fun fact. Did you know when we enjoy on swings or the slide, we are doing force actions like push and pull, backwards, forwards, etc. And that's all. Hope you all enjoyed, my dear friends and teachers.
Varija, a grade 5 student of SciKnowTech. I love the magical world, and science is real magic. It is all around us. It brings magic real and lively. It gives the answers to all my queries and curiosities. Everything is defined by science. It inspires me to ask every question why. That is why I love science. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I love science because I have a lot of questions being why things happen, when do they happen, how do they happen. It could be in the universe, in the plants, in the soil, and even in our own body. And science gives me the answer to all of these questions. These questions and answers interest me very much, and that's why I like science. Thank you, and happy International Day of Women and Girls in Science.
Hello all, my name is Varija Shah. I'm 10 years old. I study in 4th standard Frederick School. My hobbies are reading and photography. But my passion is to become a scientist because being a scientist involves testing, researching, exploring, and then coming to a conclusion with depth of knowledge. And I love to do all these things. Also, being a scientist can help the mankind in many ways by exploring things from all around the world. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shravya. I love science because I love doing experiments and also learn new experiential learning and STEM too. When I grow up, I want to be an astronaut, and also for that, science is required. I want to inspire the and women and girls at my age to learn science and choose science for their career. Thank you. Science is everywhere in our life.
Good morning, everyone. Science is everywhere. The reason behind the development of human life is science. If a person wants to explore his or her life without science, the person can't do that. That's why I'm interested in science. Thank you.
Thank you, Shravya, for sharing the screen. And I think two questions children are writing to me in the chat. One, Kiara can go ahead. She wanted to ask Varija one question. Yes, Kiara, beta, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have two questions. My first question is that when you're in a cockpit, there are lots of like buttons and all those things. So at that age, how did you? What was your experience learning about them?
So as I said that if you want to drive, you need a learner's license first. Similarly, to fly a plane, you need a student pilot license. So before taking the license, they actually teach you about what are the primary and secondary controls. So before flying, I knew what are the controls, but I just wanted a demo of how to actually use those controls. So I agree. When you actually see a cockpit, you're too scared and you're too fascinated by all the buttons of how to use, when to use. And it is very crazy that you don't even know how to reach and how to press those buttons. So when I actually saw those buttons, I was really fascinated. I wanted to touch all of them, but I knew that I couldn't. So when my instructor actually taught me how to use those buttons, I gradually developed the hang of it, and it was so much fun after that.
Wonderful.
And my second question is that has your plane ever hit an air pocket, and how did it feel if it did?
Super question, Kiara. Beta, smile. Baba.
No,
Good.
my airplane has never, but as I can say that there are a lot of accidents and incidents you must have been seeing in the big airplanes, right? But there are also a very much accidents taking place in the flying clubs as well. So no, there was no airbag or any such thing happened to me. But yes, there are a lot of accidents and incidents which take place. So there are a whole another team, like emergency team. Like if there's an accident or incident, the emergency team immediately comes up, the ambulance comes, and then there are a lot of people who actually help you, like the ATC, who is always monitoring. So even when there's an accident or incident taking place at the end of the runway, they have the whole view of what actually is happening. So there is no such thing like, you should be scared or anything. There is always someone to help you out and to come out of it.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. I think Karthik also had a question. We can have a last question for the day. We have taken so much of time of her.
No problem.
Yes, Karthik, go ahead, beta.
So hello, I'm Karthik, and my question is that uh, the pilot training is like physical, like army training, or it's like more mental?
Okay, so there are two types of training. First is commercial and the second is defense. So for defense, there is Army, Air Force and Navy. And for commercial, if you want to join any airline, you can go into any airlines. You must have heard Indigo, Air India. So yes, you have to be obviously fit for both of them. But the physical training for defense is much more. So if you want to join Air Force, there are a few criteria, especially for the physical training. That is, you have to clear 1.6 kilometers in 9 minutes. You have to run 100 meters in 17 seconds. But there is no such thing in commercial training. For commercial training in your physical test, they check your heartbeat and they just make you run for 10 minutes. If your heartbeat is proper and they can monitor it properly, then you're fit. But a few years back, an instructor actually told me, now that is not actually taking place, but a few years back, if you wanted to become a pilot, especially in the commercial pilots, so they used to actually make you sit in a room and experience the g force, that how much g force can you actually handle. But there's no such thing anymore. They just make you run for a few minutes and check your heart rate. And if you're fine, then you quit. But there is a very different kind of training for both. Because if you want to be a fighter pilot, you have to be so much physically fit, but also to become a commercial pilot. But there's a huge, vast difference between the both of them. So, and I would also say that you should always be mentally and psychologically strong for both of them. As you asked me a question, I would say that you should always be strong and confident in whatever you are doing.
Thank you, Karthik.
Ma'am, just a second. I have just a funny question. Like, when you gave your first autograph, how did you feel?
Arey, it's not a funny question. It's a lot of feeling actually.
I never actually given autographs to anyone, but whenever people came to me that picture with you, or they actually, I felt so happy that, oh my god, are you asking me? Am I the one you want to take a picture? Because I have always went and asked to people that can I please take your autograph? Like my favorite actress is Alia Bhatt. I am dying to meet her. If I would meet her, I would just go crazy and ask for an autograph or photo. So when people actually came to me that I want to actually click a picture with you, I got so happy that you're talking to me, right? It was so funny.
So
But it
I
was
think
actually crazy.
so I think when you're talking about an autograph, that's the point we had met each other. You must not be remembering because it was long time ago, but your mom will surely remember that. So I think over to Salil for the incidents to get shared that how we know Varija.
Yeah, good afternoon, all, and I'm so happy to have come across Varija's journey and all. Basically, Megha, please mute. So basically, it was just a second. I'm sorry for that. Yes. So basically, we met in Vadodara, if you remember. It was Yanni's. Yanni is our idol, actually. So he's a musician, new age musician, and there was a concert there. And my son used to follow and still follows him like anything. And your mom actually, she was helpful in taking him to the front seat, and that's how we met there. And we met in the hotel also, where Yanni himself gave autograph to
Yes.
my son, and that was so exciting for us actually. Like, I mean, it was such an overwhelming moment at our age also. So I can imagine that somebody if asked you to for the autograph, how you must have felt at that point of time. So yeah, that was.
I
Yes,
do
Megha.
remember we went to the Surya Palace Hotel actually follow him, and because my mom is the great as well. So she was running after him that please let me take one picture, give me one autograph. So I do remember that we actually went there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I think now I will definitely request Ayush to screen share, and this is the last part of the program for today. And Varija, for your information, we had done a survey with parents and students, on their responses to certain questions. Ayush, please, if you can just magnify it. Okay, so I think that would be better. And while I tell you, yes, go down, beta. Okay, so this is like there are 68 responses what we have got, and maximum response, as you can see, from grade 5. And it's a good thing that basically the parents of the middle school children are really, really very enthusiastic, and probably that gets diluted once the child starts growing up, because they normally children don't listen to what parents have to say. But let's go ahead. Gender, yes, most of them are females who have put up the responses, as you can see. Are you curious to learn science and math? Yes, 100% children said yes for that. And what is more interesting to you, theory learning or experiential learning? So at least both was being said by 62% of the people. And mostly, as you can see, none of the, in fact, only theory learning nobody likes. Okay, so we have to practice what you call it to be experiential learning. Yes, please go down, beta. What do you want to become when you grow up? So there are many responses and lots of stuff, engineering and scientist and not sure, whatever it is. And please go down. Please go down. How many kids? Okay, now these were the question for the parents, and there are 74 responses. And whatever, the whole point was that the parents are not promoting the girl child to basically pursue their career in STEM. And that is very, very unfortunate that I wanted to find out, from my SciKnowTech experience. Please go ahead, beta. Go down, please. Yeah. So
Are you planning to make them more aware regarding
yeah,
this?
yeah, that is what
Because
I want to do,
that
and I really want volunteers for that. And so basically, as you can notice that I think there was one question which was, and all these questions were also framed by children. Okay, so do you encourage
right.
to learn STEAM? As you can see, yes, 82% said yes, but fact of the matter, we do not know, right? And if your daughter gets an opportunity to work with a big organization abroad, then would you want your daughter to take it up? 97% of them said yes. There were few said no also. That number is quite less.
Yeah.
Ayush for compiling these Google Form data. Okay, and I think that's all right. Thank you, Ayush. Thank you for the same. And I think, see, basically the point is that in SciKnowTech, I really practice experiential learning where, the theory is complete, theory is being covered, but it is being clubbed with different methods of learning, like lots of audio visuals, sometimes model making, lots of craft work, and children love doing it actually, and that needs to be propagated very beautifully amongst parents that this is what they like doing. And the grades are definitely वो थ्री इडियट्स नो डायलॉग છે ને કે मार्क्स तो अपने आप सक्सेस अपने पीछे भागेगा, so it's like, and it's a fact but
Totally.
people don't realize it. And probably up to 7th probably they tend to understand that okay chalo chalo रख देते हैं, but after 7th again they are into that rut race of I don't want to name any specific tuition classes, but those classes for JEE and all that, and children
Correct.
actually do not enjoy. With my own son's experience, I can say that JEE, Ayush would agree. No wonder he would agree with me that right now in 11th he's passing through the same phase after being with me for 6 years. Sitting in those classes for 7 years, it's a horrible experience for them. But anyway, thank you very much. I think
Just a second, ma'am. Sheel Mehta has sent me a message asking, just wondering what is your favorite place to fly city.
hi,
So
hi, Sheel. Nice. Let me spotlight you.
So I would like to address that question. As of now, I've only flown on top of till Mahi River, but I'm a beach person, so I would like to say that I want to fly on the top of any beach, especially the Maldives or Bora Bora or something like that. Flying on top of any beach, seeing the blue water and the blue sky. So I would really hope to fly on top of that in the future.
I see. Because even I have in my class, I have two people who have pilots, whose parents are pilots, both are commercial pilots, and they're also, and one of them is like such an aviation fanatic. He's like, like you can ask him any question. He's like, yeah, this, that, and he also says like, I know all about airplane controls and I know what every button does. So, and so because of that, I'm also like wondering, what's favorite place to fly? And a lot of aviation questions come to my head. So.
You can go ahead and ask any if you want, and if you know do not recollect any right now, you can always ask ma'am to contact me, and I'll just be happy to help.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In fact, now the last part of the program, I would ask Rudra to give formal vote of thanks for the day.
Yeah, so firstly, let me start by thanking our speakers of the day.
Rudra, 1 minute, beta. Just 1 second. Let me put you on a spotlight. Yes, please.
So firstly, let me start by thanking our speaker of the day, Varija Shah. I am sure that she might have impressed a lot of flyers of the day and the people who are are being scared of heights might be now longing their parents to take me on a flight, and I will now start to ride a plane from here.
So sweet.
True.
I will surely say that the girls will now start to break their barriers, and there will be a name of Mega Ma'am in the whole Indian community. And Mega Ma'am has inspired me to become a scientist or become something that I have achieved without them. I personally also know that Mega Ma'am can experience me, because firstly I was a very studious guy and never wanted to touch anything. But now every time something comes in my house, I just do experiment with it. I will say a big thank you to the people who have created the program, like Khushi for the creative, Anya for anchoring, Salil sir for the social media help, Shravya for compiling all the videos, Ayush for the Google Form survey, Vihana for calling the guest, then the SciKnowTech girls who have sent the videos, and at last Megha ma'am for keeping all of us together and making us meet together. The most important people of today's program were our audience, who helped us support, and their presence would have made us felt special.
You're on mute.
Thank you so much, Rudra. Thank you for that formal vote of thanks. And with such a short notice, you could make it and interacted with my children for today. And I really wish that you please visit SciKnowTech and our learning center. You know, you would definitely you would be able to give me some guidance on the aviation part, also on the exhibits what I can put up. Okay, and I really invite you to the academy. Please come.
I would love to. And if I come, I want to meet each and every one of you. I would love to come.
100%. I will be, and these children are really enthusiastic bunch of kids, who really wish to put up a good show for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for being with us. And I think with this, and this particular VIPNET club, who have hosted you today, it's a free, so those who are enrolling with us, it's a free club running on Sunday, and it is for focuses on the overall development of the child, on speaking and everything. So I think let's welcome as many children as possible. Thank you again. And let me just stop the live stream for Facebook and click a group picture for today. Let's stop live stream. Yeah. All right. I think we are good to go. Let me put ourselves on a gallery view and remove spotlight from everyone. Just a second. Yeah. Now, all of you, yes, they already know. They've already started the camera. Isha, beta, let us very, very quickly start the camera. Shravya Sheth, Shravya Sheth, there is one more. Okay, fine.
Nani, she's joined.
Yeah, I will just stop the recording also.